Okay, we are live, and I know sometimes notifications drop a little bit. And for me, I noticed the other day when I was on with Nancy and Ginger, it didn't drop until about 6 seconds after we started. So they should be all dropping. And hello, everybody. It's another Friday, and we are in August now. And I concurred with Allyson backstage. I'm ready for fall. And I did see a tree when I was walking yesterday morning. It was so nice and cool. I took a walk yesterday morning, and there's a tree outside of our park, well, right alongside the edge of our park. And I noticed a little patch was starting to change color, and I'm like, yes. So fall is on its way. And hey, Jacqueline, welcome. So I met someone new on Monday, Allyson. This is Jacqueline. Her channel is Mangled Unicorn. So that is Jacqueline. Welcome, Jacqueline. Good to see you, my dear. Um, so yeah, I got to get a few new subscribers from my show with Nancy and Ginger on Monday for our Sacred Feminine. So thanks for popping in, my dear. It's been a nice, cool, busy week, but it's going to be a hot one coming up. So wherever you are, well, it's been hot all over the country. Um, you know, so it's time to welcome fall, so to speak. So, and hello, Sandy. Oh, you are up late, sir, all the way from over in England. Good to see you. Thanks for popping in, sir. And so, Allyson, I haven't really seen you all week. You've been visiting with Wyatt. So, how's your week been?
It's been great. Actually, our weather here's been beautiful. It hasn't been hot at all. It heated up yesterday a bit. The humidity was way up last night. Although it
Mm.
was like 68 degrees last night, it was like 94% humidity. I actually ran the air during the
Ooh.
night, which I never do, especially not 60 some degrees. I open my windows every night. But today, I don't know. I didn't go anywhere other than walking with the dogs and everything else. But I turned the air on this morning and ran it throughout the whole place. Normally, I don't do that and just have left it on. And I think it's supposed to be. I know it's supposed to be hot Friday, Saturday. So today,
Mm-hmm.
tomorrow, and then I think it's not as bad, but I haven't looked, and they're constantly updating it. But it was really nice for the whole past week or so. I can't complain. It was
Mm-hmm.
like in the low 80s. So
That's
that's not
perfect. And
bad.
here, same thing with us. We had some beautiful breezes, and our neighbors next door, um, the way they have their flowers, their trees and stuff around their home planted is that different ones will bloom at different times during the summer, starting when we moved here, in spring, early summer. And oh, I cannot tell you how beautiful it was one day when the wind hit just right and it was sultry enough where there's just that right little touch of heat and humidity. And when that breeze came in, you could smell their rose bushes. It was like someone had opened up a bottle of like tuber rose or something. And whenever that little breeze blew by, all you can smell was the roses. So very nice. And anything else you want to share?
No, nothing I can think of.
Okay. So I know what a lot of people are talking about. So people are talking about the Lionsgate. And now for me, I never heard of it until I think a couple of years ago when certain people in the YouTube, I call it the WooTube community, the woo woo community, were starting to talk about this Lionsgate. And I'm like, I've never heard of this. And it's supposed to have been going on since the 90s. And I never really felt anything for a Lionsgate. So this morning, Jackie's Crystal Moon shared with us that there is a female astrologer that is on, I believe, YouTube, but she's on Facebook, and she did a short today, and I posted it in the uh, on my community tab. And now for me, and this is going to be just me reading what this particular astrologer said. For some people, it may still very well resonate. Oh my goodness. Okay, come here. Come here. You gonna help me talk about the Lionsgate, Mr. Black Panther? So, all righty, there we go. There's Auntie Allison. You haven't seen her in a while, so there we go. So apparently, according to her name is Meg, and her last name is Moonbeam. She's an astrologer, and she is on Facebook. And Jackie came across her short today, and now according to Meg, she says that the Lionsgate is not real. Now this is don't anybody come after me. This is what Meg said. And she based on she goes, so the premises of the Lionsgate, she says, is not based off of anything that's astrological. That's her first point, and then her second point was it's based on the fake Gregorian calendar of 8/8, which the Vatican created to start being able to tax people and also to kind of take people out of their their connection, their alignment with nature. And so she continued on saying, and I wrote down some of her key, and actually, like I said, it's posted in my on my community tab. If everyone wants to see her explain it probably a lot better than I would. But her key points were that the they're saying that the sun is supposed to be conjunct Sirius and Orion, but she says that's not true. She goes, Sirius, for tropical astrology, Sirius is at 14 degrees Cancer, and according to sidereal astrology, it's at 20 Gemini. So she says there is no true sun Sirius conjunction at this time, and that it was some article she said written by a gentleman in the 90s that talked about this being a lion's portal because it's 8/8, it's Leo season, so that it was something that this individual created. Now for me that kind of explains why I never really resonated with it, but still other people do, and that's fine. But I just thought that was interesting that that this was the information she provided. And again, the link is in my community tab. But according to Meg, that this is not an actual real occurrence. I'm going to put you down now. Bye bye. So, but yeah, I don't know if anybody in chat has felt anything. And first off too, she says she understands the numerology. 8/8, they're both infinity numbers, and it is in the season of Leo. So she understands and sees that connection. And she goes, it may very well because of, this starting this long ago in the 90s, that perhaps an energetic portal may have been created on a collective with so many people believing it. But she said it's not possible for the sun to conjunct Sirius and Orion when they are located at these degrees, according to the different astrological calendars. So I thought that was interesting, and that's what I wanted to share. I don't know, did you ever resonate, Allison, with the Lionsgate when people would talk about it? No. So let me see. Jacqueline says, well, 6 planets will be in alignment on 8/10. 4 could be seen with the naked eye. That will be very cool to see. I'm not sure if I'll be able to from where I'm at. And I know that we have several planets in retrograde, including Mercury. And let's see, she says Venus, Jupiter, Uranus, Mercury, Neptune, and Saturn. That's a lot of planets. But for me, astrology is very difficult for me to grasp, especially when they talk about trines and conjunctions and degrees and everything. So I just know my basic signs. Allison taught me how to, find, my rising. So I know I'm Sagittarius, and this is tropical. So Sagittarius, and Aries rising, and the Pisces moon. So, yeah. And with the other one, the sidereal or real sky, it's Scorpio, and she's a Scorpio. So, and let's see. Sandy says, my birthday is August 13th, and I would like to pull a card for Allyson. So wait a minute. So Sandy, let me understand. Okay, your birthday's on the 13th, which is happy early birthday. And would like to pull a card for Allyson. So you want to pull a card for, I'm assuming you mean my girl right here. And I'm wondering, well, you would have to get permission from Allyson. So, oh, she's muted. Okay.
No, thanks.
Okay, so no, thank you, Sandy, but thank you for your offer. That was very sweet.
And she might have meant, I don't know what she meant, but no, I don't do the readings online anymore anyway.
And Sandy is actually a gentleman. So, over in our across the pond. So, all righty. And let's see. And Jacqueline says, I feel an electricity in the air, but there's a lot happening all at once. Yes, it comes in waves for me. Like I've had moments of feeling pure bliss, like I was so full of love and I would explode. Oh my God, that's a beautiful feeling to have. My goodness. So, all righty. But yeah, I know that's what a lot of people are talking about today. And Meg, kind of feels bad because she says there are a lot of people in the astrology community, that she follows, and she says they talk, she goes, they buy into the whole Lions portal. I never resonated with it, but yet it is Leo season. So a happy birthday to all our Leos. Tomorrow would have been my cousin's 55th birthday. So happy birthday to my cousin Louise in heaven. And then tomorrow is also Lexi's birthday, and she will be doing a birthday celebration live tomorrow. And also, really quick, tomorrow is the next scavenger hunt. It's the third round that I'm going to be a part of, and I'm going to be doing the tarot scavenger hunt with Kaylee tomorrow from Fogo Pogo. So I'm excited about that. Any plans for the weekend? Because I know you said Wyatt's going to be going home soon. Well, going back for school soon.
Nothing specific.
Anything specific? All righty. So, other than that, was there anything that came up this week that you wanted to, talk about spiritually, or anything that, caught your attention that you wanted to,
No, I've been very tied up with my child.
All righty. Oh, and look who is here.
Hi, Miss Tarot D.
Hi, Miss Tarot D. Talking about Leos. Miss Tarot D, I was just sharing with Allyson in chat. Jackie's Crystal Moon found a Facebook page by an astrologer named Meg Moonbeam. The link is in my community tab, and she explains that there really is not a true Lion's Gate, that it's not astrologically possible, and she goes into explaining why. But you know what? It is Leo season after all, and we are celebrating our Leo. So, Miss Tarot D, your birthday, I believe, is the 15th. So we have lots and lots of Leos. My mother, her birthday was the 18th. So I know a lot of Leos. Miss Tarot D was like, what have I missed? Allyson spent the whole week with her son. He's been visiting. So we were talking about that, the weather. And Jacqueline says, a good old-fashioned chit-chat about planets. There you go. And next Saturday is Leo's birthday at 7 p.m. So hope you all join us. So you, my dear. And she's like, yay, Allyson. So thank you for being
When is
here.
your birthday, Miss Tarot D?
I believe it's the 15th. Make sure that I'm correct on that, because we have a lot of Leos. I know Bobby's.
So is she saying that next Saturday is the birthday?
I think so. But Miss Tarot D, can you verify?
Okay, that would not be. So today is the 8th. Next Friday would be the 15th. So Saturday would be the 16th.
Yep. The 15th is her birthday. And I guess
Okay,
Saturday.
so it is next. Okay, so it's next Friday.
And you're going to be
today's Saturday for some reason. Yeah. Right. Today's Friday. Okay.
Oh, that's right. You and Bobby do share the same birthday. So you're doing a birthday show on the 15th. That is wonderful. I will definitely pop in and wish y'all a very happy birthday. So otherwise, just been busy here, you know, been working on. So for those who joined Jonathan and I last week for our live painting session, still working on that piece. And this is what I have gotten so far. And I don't know how well it can be seen, but I'm still working on it. So at some point I will be posting on Facebook the finished piece. So that's been keeping me busy. I got some more canvas today. Bought a couple of
It's really
more.
pretty.
Thank you. I purchased a couple more tubes from that wonderful natural earth paint here in Ashland. And I'm going to apply for an affiliate link. I was talking to Marika the other day. And so if I go ahead and do videos and I talk about, you know, their paint or post any of their videos or things on their products, I can put an affiliate link in there. And if someone chooses to purchase from the company, I will get a small stipend for my support. So I'm very excited. And I know your mind's a little muddy because you had treatment today, and we're happy that you're here hanging out with us. And Jacqueline is a Capricorn, 110. Let's see. Yeah, she says lots of Leos in her family. So, and Miss Tarot D said, what? Say what? In my family, we have at least 5 Leo Cap couples. Oh my goodness, Miss Tarot D. Yeah, no. If Karen was here, she'd be like, oh boy. She'd be, going off on the astrology. But yeah, other than that, just, gain some art supplies and playing and enjoying the cooler temperatures. And I told Allyson too, there's a little tree. Well, not a little tree, but there's a tree outside of our park. And there's a little section of it that's actually the leaves are starting to change color. And I had to go in the Hobby Lobby today and, all their fall decorations. I'm so getting into fall. The Halloween and fall ambient videos on YouTube are up. So you can play those while doing things around the house and listen to all the different sounds. What did I miss? What you all did for the Lionsgate. So Miss Tarot D, in my community tab, there is a video short by a young lady named Megan Moonbeam. She was recommended by Jackie's Crystal Moon, and she actually dispels she says basically the Lionsgate is a myth, that it's not possible for the sun
Portal.
being conjunct and Sirius and Orion, yes, the portal being real. And she gives facts, she states, because of the Vatican, changing with the Gregorian, the calendar, and where the degrees of the signs are, that it's just not possible, that this was something that was kind of created or mentioned during an article in the 90s, and a lot of people in the spiritual community kind of up and ran with it. So it's interesting, for some people, they may very well feel that there's some sort of portal that they work with, and that's fine. For me, I never really resonated, and that could very well be why. But like Jacqueline explained, we are having 5 planets going to be visible soon in the sky. So who knows, that energy is still around that's coming up. And Jacqueline says, my life path 22, I'm told. Yes, we did. Oh my goodness. Allyson and I have been doing this show now for about 2 years. And one night we did a thing on numerology, and you can find anywhere on the internet how to be able to figure that out. And I believe for your life path number, again, Allyson, making sure I'm correct, it's your full birth date. Like me, it's 12061970, and then you narrow it down to one number
For your life path.
for your life path. Yep. So now when you get to something like 22, some people may consider that a master number, but I'm not sure if that would be considered a master number. For me, I probably would break it down to 2 plus 2, makes it 4. But But again, that depends on, different people and how, they work with numbers. But yeah, numerology is very interesting. Plays a big part in tarot, that's for sure. So it's good to learn about numbers. And Miss Tarot D said, okay, but did any of you actually do anything fun or interesting in regards to this day? And I went shopping and got some new canvas and some new art supplies. That is pretty much it. Um, Allyson said she stayed home and
I'm
worked around the
off
house.
for summer, so I am very responsible with money right now. So no, I don't. Yeah. Um, I do want to comment on one thing that's a
Okay.
little out of it. It's just I just thought of it with something that was said, and this is a little squirrel, but I'm going to mention it. Uh, Many of you probably know because I'm sure a lot of you are crafty. Whoever's here, anyways, or will be watching or whatever. That we lost Joanne's. Joanne Fabrics is no more. Joanne's Arts and Crafts, whatever you want to call it. But Joanne's is gone. And I realize I'm probably one of the only ones here, but it ebbs and flows in my life how much sewing I'm doing. But Joanne's is the main fabric source, regardless of where you live in the country. And I've lived in many areas of the country. And it's just really sad because it's really always been the best place to buy fabric because they have a lot of calicos, which is mostly what I buy, which is for quilting. But you can use it for a lot of different things. And they also sold very diverse fabric. But Joann's is gone. It's not even online. And so it depends on where you live in the world. You might have another option or in the US or the world, but I'm talking about the US, Joann's. There's just nowhere there's there's very few places to buy fabric at this point, and you almost have to buy it online, which is for me a bummer. Um, because you don't have the it's one of those things I would never order online. You have to see it in person, you have to be able to touch it, you have to see the true
Yeah.
color that's there, all of it. And you can buy fabric at other places, but mostly it's quilt shops, which are extremely expensive. And I understand why, but I will never spend 12, 15, whatever dollars a yard for cotton fabric. It just won't happen. I won't. And so the only other option where I live is Michael's Crafts, and they have an itsy bitsy teeny weeny fabric selection, which is undesirable. And then the other thing that we have where I live is Hobby Lobby, and there's not one near me, but there is one driving distance. They have a slightly better fabric department. They do not do Halloween at Hobby Lobby in any way, shape, or form. They do not do Halloween, period. Decorations, fabric.
They used to.
Well, they don't. And so
Ooh.
it's just kind of a bummer. And I'm just kind of mourning the loss of Joann's. I've always
Yeah.
spent money in that store, always. And it's just sad. And I get it. I totally understand. It's a result of what most people have decided and started doing, which is just Amazon, 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 Amazon for everything, as well as other things, which I'm not going to say I never do Amazon, but I rarely do. Amazon's great. I totally get it. I love it for certain things, and it's just kind of the direction that everything's going. But it's just kind of sad for the other places. And I don't know that that's what happened. I just suspect. I don't know. And it's just really sad. Just it's just really sad. And I miss it already. And yeah, it's just a bummer. So
Yeah, I was a
there's
seasonal
just
worker for Joann's, and even though I couldn't sew, I was there not for the beads and things and stuff, and I would help and cash people out. Even when I started back in 2000, when I did the seasonal, it was around 2000 and I think 9 or 10, and they had just tried rebranding again, and they were kind of struggling then. I thought they made a comeback. They redid the building that I worked at, and it seemed like the layout was better. Cashing out was better. Everything was updated, machine wise, and being up in Niagara Falls, we had a huge amount of our Canadian friends coming down to be able to get sewing machines, the fabric, everything, the cry cutters, anything for crafts and fabrics, because it costs like twice as much, sometimes 3 times as much in Canada. So our store was always busy. So it's sad that they, had to completely close and go out of business.
And that's all I'm saying. I get it that people compete and people want to get the best price and people love buying online and I get it, and money's tight and this, that, and whatever. And like I mentioned, Amazon, people shop at Amazon. I totally understand. And it's wonderful in a lot of ways, but um not even necessarily connected. I'm just saying it's just sad to see, because people aren't going to buy fabric from there anyways. That's for maybe like the other things that store sold. I don't know. I don't know. I just know that it's just really sad that they're gone. And for those of us that um, do use that for a fabric resource, it's just really going to be missed. So, and again, I ebb and flow out of it. I mean, I've been a really avid quilter, and then I might go away from it for years at a time, and then I come back, and I do make other things here and there.
She does, just like
But I
Christmas
don't,
carol.
it's just a bummer, because like I said, there's just not a lot out there now. And like when I used to live in Florida, there were lots of places to buy fabric, mom and pop. And don't get me wrong, that's lovely. It really is, but it's so expensive. And that was then. I wouldn't even step foot. I wouldn't even go in, because I already know probably going to see something gorgeous. I'm not going to pay the money.
Yeah.
And it's not that I can't. I just don't. I'm very wise with how I spend, and I just won't. But it's one of those things. It's one of the very few things that can really make me ponder. I mean, I really like fabric. And so, and I get it. They got to pay their rent and everything else, all these sweet little independent. And I love that. But it's like, I guess the whole point is we're really transitioning out of brick and mortar. It's
Yes.
going away. We lost Joann's. And so people are, and we've lost lots of stores. And yes, there's the big place that everybody orders from online, but there's other places too. And it's just, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it's just the inevitable change. I'm just not excited to see it happen. And I do like to buy things in person. I'm sure I'm not alone on that. Certain things, sure. Like if it's something that, like I drink an electrolyte, and the quality that I insist on, I can only get it a couple places, and so that's like the one thing that I do order online. Because I have to. I don't have any choice. You can't buy it on the shelf anywhere I've seen. I mean, there are electrolytes, but not when you're reading labels like I do. Something that's worth
Lots
the
of
money that you're
sugar.
paying. No, there's no sugar. I'm talking about like what the actual, all of the electrolytes that you need to have and all of that. And if there's anything extra in there, the electrolytes are way off. Like there's a whole bunch of sodium and there's hardly any potassium, whatever. It's just a bummer. I'll just leave it at that. It's just really disappointing.
Yeah, we have a store here downtown Ashland. I actually sent you a picture. They have it's called SEW Creative, and they have these quilted pillows, and they have this big blanket. I wanted to take the whole picture of it for you, but there was such glare coming off the window you couldn't see it. But they had this beautiful quilt, and quilted in it was, I think, an owl. They had a deer, like local animals. There was a bear. It was so beautiful, but I haven't stepped foot in there. I've already stepped in foot in the crochet store, and I was looking at some of the prices of the skeins, and I was just like, oh boy. But so yeah, the private stores are going to cost a lot. And Ms. Taro D said that they have an independent fabric store in the Bronx. And yes, Jacqueline says it's a sensory experience. That's why, it's hard to buy things. Like, I don't like buying clothes online. I don't like buying certain, like you said, fabric, because for me, I need to be able to feel it. I need to see it. I need to touch it to be able to. Same thing with crystals, certain things. You want to be able to have that. You want to feel what that material actually feels like. And Ms. Taroti also said, agree, Allyson. We have an independent fabric store near us. I guess because a lot of the Latin ladies still do a lot of crafting and sewing. And you are right, you have to touch and feel, see the fabric, and totally understands your loss. And fabric stores are also social gathering places to be with your common creative tribes. And yes, they are. I remember going, even when I wasn't working for Joann's, you would go in and you would see the ladies or the grandmas comparing fabrics. Oh, did you hear about this fabric? Did you see this? And they would have these conversations as people were cutting their fabric. And so, yeah, I can totally see that as a communal place. And hello, Nancy. Nancy at Crohn's Intuition has joined us. Thank you, Nancy. And speaking of sewing, Allyson, I emailed you a question regarding the pouches you made.
I did not see that. I'll check my spam, honey.
So yeah,
I was
just
just on my
received.
email. Didn't see anything, but I might have overlooked it.
Yes, I love mine that she made for me. There were, I mean, Allyson is very, when she sews, everything is done perfectly. Nothing's like loose or out. I mean, it's a beautiful sewing, I don't know what to call it, technique. But the ribbons, the little touches of the little wood beads, I absolutely love my bags. So I know I've said it before, but thank you again. So, oh, just send it 10 minutes ago.
Oh, okay. I will respond.
Okay, so all righty. But yeah, I sometimes wonder, you know, especially, some of the smaller art stores, like the one here in Medford, I think they're going to go strong. I mean, they have good prices. They don't overcharge. There was one in Buffalo that pretty much kind of ran out all the smaller businesses, and they kind of became the monopoly, store for the art supplies in that area. And the prices, they're like, well, we're below prices. I'm like, yeah, well, that's still kind of high, which,
People
for
have to charge what they have to charge. The rents are insane. That's what I'm saying.
Mhm.
Stores are going to go away.
Yeah. That's what
Stores
a
are
lot
going
of
to be,
people are
I bet by
predicting.
the time my son is my age, there won't be any.
Yeah, I
I just don't
believe it.
think there will. I hope I'm wrong. Everything's
Spe-
going to be online.
And with the cyber sales, especially after Black Friday, a lot of people are getting their business that way too, through the
I mean,
cyber
the big
sale.
stores,
Yeah.
there might be some storefronts, but all these little mom and pop and cutesy little downtown stores and all that, only if you're just doing it for the heck of it and you got money to burn and you do not care about being in the red, the black, whatever in the black,
Mhm.
you're just doing it to, you know,
That's how I
you got
think
money to
going.
burn. You're
Yeah.
just doing it for the romance of it because there's not going to be, I really, and I don't mean to be but I don't see it. Not the direction that everything's going.
I think depending too, like here in Ashland, because we get so many tourists and a lot of people here, there are a lot of people here that do have quite a bit of wealth. And we talked about that before backstage, they're able to charge those prices and they are able to get business and to stay in business. So hopefully, we don't lose a lot more stores, but it's quite possible that that is the way things are heading. And Ms. Taro D says
Yes,
most
Miss
of the
Charity.
storefronts are bod are bodega. Is that no?
Bodegas.
Yeah, bodega smoke shop. Yeah, that's where you see around here. Smoke shops are popping up left and right phone stores and drug dealer on some tarot D. Yes, lots of nail shops, exactly. And which I think we are all human Oh, yeah, there are a lot of places that do, and some that, yeah, it's something to go into maybe on a different, but there's a lot of things like, I mean, we used to live next door to a family that owned a Chinese, I think it was a Chinese restaurant in Buffalo, and they had like in a small, like, I mean, the apartments were not that big, and they would have families, and a lot of them, would end up having to, you know, a lot of them end up having to sleep on the floor, or they come over. They work for the family. I mean, a lot of it is like indentured, work, and the nail salons, restaurants. And I'm not just, I don't want to think I'm just focusing on oh, there's her son Wyatt, everybody. For those who haven't seen the picture before, that's my channel. That's Allison's handsome son Wyatt. So, but yeah, a lot of these places, and that, Miss Tarot D, from the work that you do. And some people say, oh, that's a lot of conspiracy theory, and it really is not. And I'm not focusing on directly on anything that is, culturally specific, but a lot of places of business like that, a lot of these stores are fronts, for, illegal, you know, and let's say illegal activities, and I will just leave it at that. But yeah, Miss Charity, that would be something I would like to maybe have a chat, do a live show. We'd be very careful and very, on how we talk about certain things. But the more people know and are aware, I think, that can help improve the situation. And let's see. Wow, he is very handsome. I know, Miss Tarody. But then again, he has a gorgeous mother. Aww. So we are at 5:39. While Allison's grabbing and doing what she's doing, I'm just going to mention really quick again that I'm going to be a part of the next Tarot Oracle Scavenger Hunt on Hershey's channel. It's going to be 1 p.m. Pacific time, so that should make it 4 p.m. Eastern Standard. I'm going up against Kaylee Fogo Pogo, and I have like almost all my decks laid out in front of me, getting ready to try to hold my reign. I've competed in 2 of them, and I won both of them. And I'm surprised my teammate didn't jump in. So Tom was the first one that I competed against, and one that I won against Gerald. But it's more about just having fun. So I'm looking forward to tomorrow, and I hope you can all join us. And Ms. Tarot D says, no, it's not conspiracy theory. We see it every day at work, and we have a whole human trafficking department that sees thousands of cases every year. Yes. So one of these days, Ms. Tarot D, I want to ask you about that, a certain type of thing that went on. I won't mention it here on YouTube because that'll be opening up a whole can of worms, but I'll ask you in private if you think that was real. And so I have really nothing else to offer for tonight. I've just been this week busy reading new books. Oh, Allyson, you probably didn't get to see that one pop-up I did this week. Check this out. And for people who didn't see this, I went to my bookstore in Ashland that does the new and the used book, Ashland Book Exchange. And you got to see this book. Oh my goodness. Look at this. I guess this came out last year. Beautiful hardcover. Talk about having that texture, that sensory. The art is really cool, and I know how much you love hares. Look at this. Well, first of all, there's Artemis. This is some of the artwork that is in the book. I absolutely love it. And there's one in here of a hare. There's one in purple and one in orange. I'll show you the orange one.
Ooh.
Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a beautiful book. Kind of talks a little bit in brief about the history, and then kind of talks about, the falsehoods, and they explain what things really are, and they talk about some of the Sabbats and everything. But yeah, the artwork is very, very cool in this book. The book is in excellent condition. It was going for like $30 US, and I got it half off for 15. And I said, "Oh, I have got to get this." I love the font. The font is really cool. So where's the purple version of that hair? And we got Maiden, Mother, and Crone. I absolutely love that one too. I really hope that I have to actually research. I haven't been able to do it yet. I hope whoever did the illustrations can do a deck. That would be amazing. But okay, now where do you see in purple? I wanted to show you. Oh, and for our masculine gentleman, we do have. They talk about the green man and Carnunos. You know, the wild nature spirit of the male energy, which I feel a lot in Lithia Park, along with the Fae. And where is? Come on, I want to show Allyson the purple. And it's not going to show up now for me, is it? Watch, I'll get done and I'll close the book, or I'll open it up and boom, there it'll be. Oh, there you are. Yeah, you are. And there he is. I like the purple one better with the orange background. But yeah, that's very cool. He looks like Tom Ritual. Miss Tara D. Who knows? Maybe we'll conjure him now. I also found a wonderful book called Devoted to You, Honoring Deity in Wiccan Practice. And they talk about also Anubis in here. So I look forward to that. There's like 3 different people that talk about different aspects. We have Gaia. Someone talks about Bridget, and a gentleman talks about Anubis, and I think or Anubis, and they talk about other parts of the pantheon for those. And this one here, all these books are in excellent condition. And this one is called Recovering True Histories of Feminist Magic, because I'm trying to get back into that, trusting in my magic. And this book retails for 18. I got it for like $9. So these were a few that I got, including an art book. So I am just, thank goodness, that would be a store. That store has been around for 54 years. I had no idea that bookstore had been around that long. So hopefully, Allyson, we don't lose, stores like that, I know at some point, not all businesses can continue forward, because generations come where some people might not want to follow in their parents' or their families, business, and want to do something of their own. Tom, there we go. Tom, were you lurking? Did you know, Miss Terodisa, that one of the pictures in the book looked like you? So,
hey, Tom.
It's good to see you, Tom. And by the way, I missed Tom. It's been forever. He's been on. Allyson, did you chase Tom away? Nah, we're one big happy family here, right? So, yeah, I was trying to get Tom's got to come on one of these nights, and we got to have a threesome. Threesome as in a conversation, Miss Terody, that kind of conversation. And Nancy says, my son just came in. Good night, everyone. Well, enjoy, David. I'm sure that's who you're talking about. And last week, Tom, congratulations to my teammate, actually won by 1 card the scavenger hunt with Hershey. And Tom, you're playing against Brian, which is Blushing Nerd Tarot. So congratulations on that. We're Team Depeche. So when we go into the team competitions, Tom and I are a team. So that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to that. And Tom I'm eating dinner right now, so I'm not very chatty. That's fine. I just thought maybe, talking about, when Miss Terody mentioned the green man looking like you, I thought, hey, maybe we're going to summon Tom into the chat. So, and Miss Terody says, I'm always thinking of you and sending love and positivity your way, my dear. Oh, that's sweet. Oh, you're slightly the better bullshitter. Oh my goodness, Tom. No, those were hard prompts that Hershey gave you guys. So, anywho, let's see. Well, I think we're pretty much, because I'm out of topics for the night. Mhm. So, oh, hi, Irene. Good to see you, my dear. I was wondering if you were going to pop in. Always nice to see you. Oh my God, it was hard. Good luck tomorrow. Thanks, Tom. I've got almost every single deck out and in front of me, So hopefully I can bring my A game tomorrow and retain my title. And if they bring up the bluebird again, I got a bluebird. My timings. Hey, we got lives, Irene. Different things happen. So it's just been light conversation. Allyson was talking. We were talking about line skate in the beginning and how it's actually not a real thing, according to some astrologers. That's just something that was kind of made up. But that link is in my community tab if anybody wants to see that. And and hi, Allyson. I'm not ignoring you. Um, and then we were talking about, Joanne's going out of business and smaller. Oh, there's Wyatt. Hi, Wyatt. Oh, he's so tall. Oh my goodness. My, I know she said he was tall, but man, that boy's tall.
Okay. He's headed out with his friends. So anyway.
So that was nice to be able to wave and say, but I didn't realize. I know when that one video, I didn't.
I'm surprised he did that much because he's he's not
It
going
was
to
so
do more than
sweet.
that.
So tell him thank you. That was a treat. And let's see. And Tom says, oh, that's not Tom. That's Jacqueline. Oh, I hate when this thing does that. And
I'm just grabbing my water. It's
Okay.
right here in the fridge.
And Tom says, hey, Allyson, I'm not ignoring you. She knows that. Irene, let's see. But the same argument goes between the Eastern and Western astrology schools. Yes. So it was interesting how Megan explained. Again, I recommend watching that video because she breaks it down and explains it probably better than I do about why it's not a true, Lionsgate Leo portal because of the way the signs are lined up. And let's see. Miss Tarot D's like, calm down. I mean, Tom's like, Miss Tarot D, calm down. And he is a beautiful young man. Yes, he is. How do I become a #1 fan? I just got here. So those things they're doing now in YouTube is ridiculous. They're just another way of trying to get people to compete against each other. Who talks the most? Who gets the most comments? Who's the most participating? They give you crowns for that. I think it's at YouTube. I think it's ridiculous. I would really like to see you get rid of that feature. It's not cool. I don't like it. So again, it's more like competition, who says the most in chat and this and that. I'm like, no, y'all are the best chatters. So no worries with that. So, but yeah, I'm all out of stuff. There is one thing. I reached out to Kristen Louise. I was hoping she might pop into chat tonight. Something very interesting that she came across, I came across that she did, that she posted, and it's about things that we say. Well, at least I know I say. I can't say we as a whole. This is me personally. When we give readings for people, especially if they come from a place of trauma. And it's hot takes from a trauma therapist. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different things that I never thought of and considered. So I'm hoping that Kristen can maybe join us on a Monday during a divine or a sacred feminine, or maybe on another show, because Friday nights are usually, more, not so heavy. I didn't want to bring trauma or anything into it, but they're very interesting. If you follow Kristen Louise, be sure to go check it on her page. And it's food for thought. Things that I didn't consider. And one of them, I'll just share one of them. And it's, you don't need to forgive in order to heal. And that one really stood out to me because I've had a lot of people, telling me over the years, well, if you don't forgive, you're never going to heal, you're going to care. And, it's always kind of, puts pressure on a person. And that's true. So that's one of the points. And I think that would make a great conversation. I don't think necessarily for a Friday night, but maybe for, another show. And I think the Divine Feminine, Sacred Feminine would be a good place for something for that discussion. And if anybody wants to get in on that conversation, maybe do it on a separate show, let me know too. Let's see. I'm just catching up. Irene joined us, Iron Fire Horse. And she says, is trying to lure me in a little dopamine burst. Yeah, YouTube does that where they get people excited. Like, what they're doing now too is if I go and leave a comment on somebody's channel, like under one of their video posts, and someone says acknowledges that, they send you this alert saying, congratulations, your comment was loved, and it's just kind of like, it's overkill. I don't know why they're trying so hard to get, but like Irene says, is that dopamine, getting people excited and, oh, someone liked what I said or someone approved of what I said. And I don't know, that just doesn't, not my cup of tea.
That's why people are so addicted to their phones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not,
Exactly.
but a lot of people are. It's the hit that they get when they see any number of things.
Yep. And I don't, that's why I used to Facebook all the time was scrolling, and at one point I'm like, Heather, stop. And I saw, I go, this is too much. So yeah, I only check Facebook maybe once or twice a day, just pop in, see a couple, see if there's any messages, and then I move on. But yeah, it's all device. TikTok, I mean, I rarely go on Instagram, but I do love going on Instagram to see the little, because Selena, Essence of the Moon, made a little account for Darla, her penny mix that has Addison's disease, and they're the sweetest videos of Darla. So I go to see those pretty much, and that's it, or to post some artwork. But Tom said, yeah, I don't either. Oh, let's see. Some days I'm chatty and like way down the list. Mixed bag. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, you don't need that BS exactly. So let's see. Miss Tarot D. That same meme was posted on a male survivors group page that I belong to. It's through so Miss Tarot D, you have seen that list for the trauma. Okay. That definitely is. Especially the one that really stood out to me too was when we tell, at least when, okay, let me take out the we again and say the I. When I have grown accustomed when doing readings that, I tend to tell people that to, have someone truly love you, you have to be able to learn how to love yourself first. And that was a red flag on that list. And I had to take a step back, and that's one of the ones that made me take pause and really think about what that meant. And actually, I mean, it is possible. There are people that do love other people, even though, if that person themselves can't love themselves, there are people in their life that truly do love them. And it's things like that that I don't think about. And I think that goes into a lot of readings and stuff also, that once I've seen that list, now when I go and approach readings, I keep that in mind now when I approach readings, because that's not going to resonate with everybody. Again, we're all from different, places in our life and different situations and circumstances. So definitely that list is something to consider. So I'm trying not to go on and on about that.
Also, keep in mind, in general, this isn't everything in life. Just because somebody says it, I don't care who it is, does not make it accurate, does not make it true, does not make it true for everybody. like the whole thing about, like for one person, it might be true that that person can't heal if they don't forgive. But for another person, maybe they can heal even though they didn't forgive. I mean, I'm really trying to just remind myself these sweeping blanket statements.
Mm-hmm. I like how you call them sleeping.
And therapists too,
Mm-hmm.
just because a therapist told you something does not mean it's right. Doesn't mean it's accurate. Most therapists are therapists because they got problems. And you can research that. That's very much the truth. Google it. It's very true. And just, I mean, there's so many, I'm just saying there's just always be open
Mm-hmm.
to everything and anything, and be willing. Also, something else that this is just for me, people can do whatever they want, but just remember, don't be so stubborn to not change your mind. Actually, that's the end of the sentence.
There you go. And
I used to be that way, and it's like, no, I feel so different about so many things
mm-hmm.
than what I used to. It's that I used to be very stubborn about changing my mind, and it's like the only person that hurts is you.
Mm-hmm. That shows growth as we get older when we can.
Yeah, and you better grow or you're wasting your time here.
Mm-hmm. And Miss Tarot D says, in
On Earth,
therapy,
I mean.
that's called ego lending. When you allow the therapist to hold space for you on okay, hold on. Where you allow the therapist, or we allow the therapist to hold space for you until you can do it yourself. Yes, and that was my Kathy.
Like years and years ago, I saw a couple different therapists and about a couple different things. Some of it old, some of it had been more recent, da da da. And I do recommend therapy. I think therapy is great.
Mm-hmm.
But it can also be not great. And it also can be the wrong person. And then I also know people that have gone into therapy forever and they're no different now than they were when they started. I mean, it can look a lot of different ways. And so it's important to not just go in there and talk, just have a conversation and not walk away or learn anything. I mean, you can do that, but it's just, I don't know. I guess my whole long winded point is just, and we're all different, different personalities and how we were raised and our own astrology. And there's lots and lots of reasons, life experience, why we're all so very different. But best as you can, just try to be open and willing to listen and pick up on subtleties that just happen to come through your ear. And, just we're here to grow, change, and love and all of that, and not just spin our wheels and waste time. So, yeah.
I get behind that. And for me, it took a few therapists to find the right one. I mean, they were all good. They didn't last very long because of financial through Medicaid and all, but I was able to find Kathy, and she really, I mean, for me, therapy, I will get behind and say therapy saved my life. Spirit guided me to the right one, and she got me through some really difficult stuff. And between groups and kind of teaching how to remind to stand back, look at how you're looking at things, don't I mean, I've learned so much, and I feel bad for people because we've had people that have popped in the chat that said that they haven't had a lot of luck finding the right one, the right therapist or counselor. But don't give up. That's
And that's
my
part of it. I saw several that after just a couple times, I was like, nope, not a fit, and this was all out of pocket. We paid cash for all of that. We didn't have insurance and all this kind of stuff paying for that. I mean, I had insurance, but,
I was blessed I did so.
And these were good therapists too. This is in Northern California, and it's just, there's not that necessarily means anything, but in certain areas it does, in certain areas, but it doesn't mean they're a fit. it doesn't matter how much they are per hour and all that and whatever. If it's not a fit, it's not a fit. And so you don't want to fast track it, but you also don't want to spend too much time if you know it's not gonna. And then in the end, we ended up finding somebody who was wonderful and who's recently retired, I found out. And he was just lovely. And also somebody that does what a therapist is supposed to do. Because a lot of therapists, not supposed to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
So yeah, but anyways, that's my rant. And I have to get going, you guys. I'm sorry. Heather, you can keep going, but I do have to curtsy off.
Okay. At 6:30, Allison's going to be joining Stephen over on his channel for some more tarot tutorials and hanging out. So be sure to go over and pop in the chat and say hi to my girl over there. And I'll just finish up here, and then we'll say goodnight. So good to see you, girl. I'll talk to you later.
Bye, everybody. Have a good night.
Bye. All righty. So, and what I wanted to do tonight is maybe pull some cards for the weekend. But I wanted to see what everybody has been sharing. And Tom was like, but then again, we all believe in magic cards. So what the fuck do we know? And I can hear you saying that over. I can see you going, no, So yeah, I got it, Tom. And not all therapists are created equal. No, they're not. Discernment is hard. But until I found the right one, I was put in good people's hands. It just took a little longer because, a lot of the place, because in New York is where I got my therapy, and where I needed to, where I discovered the mental health. And so because I was eligible to have my therapy covered by Medicaid, it had to be through a specific place. And because Medicaid doesn't always pay what some doctors can get, privately, a lot of times I would be with somebody, and then they would find a job somewhere else that would pay better, or they would go into private practice. But for me, I think when you put intention out there, to find the right one or ones will come along. And again, like Allyson was saying, it can be very expensive if you don't have health insurance. And I was blessed. I'm very grateful. I was lucky to be able to have that covered. And then I found Kathy in 2017. And up until I left, I got to see her for a month after I left New York with Horizons. And she has given me a lot of help. She's known things that even Shan doesn't know. And I was actually able to find somebody that I could trust and create that safe space with. And now here in Oregon, unfortunately, I started seeing a young lady that I really liked. I call her young lady because I'm older than her, but she's very cool. Her name is M. But what happened is the place that I went through, put my information in wrong for my medical. And they didn't pick that up until 4 weeks after I started seeing her. And because she doesn't have a license for Medicare yet, she's not allowed to see me. So I have to have somebody in between. And you never know. I want to definitely go back to M, but they're giving me somebody else that I see in a couple of weeks. And you never know. That could have been Spirit giving me to M for a period of time. And this new person that I'm going to be seeing, who knows? Maybe she may even be a better fit. Who knows? But yeah, we really need, and of course, YouTube, this is for entertainment purposes only. I'm speaking solely from a peer perspective. I am not a licensed therapist or counselor, but from a peer perspective, mental health really needs to be addressed more. It needs to be destigmatized. I can't tell you how angry I get when I watch some of my favorite old TV shows and I see how they use certain words and how, yeah, and how, but, it's been harder for some people to get assistance now because of the current administration. But I am hoping that the more we have conversations like this, the more people will feel safe. They will feel empowered and know that they can, they can find somebody. And it could be through, I was given to talk to somebody through Catholic Charities. She was a sweetheart. We didn't click. But for somebody else, she might. So again, I just recommend from my personal experience and perspective, um, if you feel that you need someone to talk to, there are, you know, life, got a siren going by. There are numbers that you can call, in case of an emergency, or there are places in your area that you can call and say, can you direct me to, or just some people have sliding fee scale where, some people like up here, there's one that, pay only $5, but never be afraid to seek any sort of help. I know there are some, like Allyson was saying, that can be detrimental, but there are so many that are very good out there, like my Kathy. Let's see, I've had so many therapists, some really good, some really shitty, that I dropped after a couple sessions. That I would take breaks and then start again when I was ready to work or do more work. There you go, Miss Tarot D. We have been unafraid to advocate for ourselves. If it's not working, you can change doctors. Yes, that is the important thing. You must advocate for yourself. If you are with a doctor of any kind, or a counselor, or even a peer specialist or peer counselor, if there is not a fit and you don't feel comfortable and you want to change, you have that right to advocate for yourself. Um, I've had bad ones and good ones, mixed bag. Yeah. I've been blessed more with the better than, the bad, but I only think I've actually had bad, just ones that meant well, but there just wasn't, or again, I really liked them, but then within a month or two, or anywhere between a month, I think a month was the shortest time I got to spend with a therapist I really liked through the Medicaid program. So it was anywhere between a month to a year, and then boom, after that, always somebody new. Um, let's see. And Ms. Tarot D said, but you're right, Allyson, you have to grow and do the work. And if that's not happening, then you're basically wasting time and money. Yes, Ms. Tarot D. And for some people too, maybe not a counselor, maybe a spiritual advisor. There are people in our communities that, if you feel safe and comfortable and you know that they will give you um, not just good advice, not necessarily good advice, but are there to willing to be able to listen to you without judgment, to be able to give you that space, that hold that space for you. There are people in, churches, possibly certain synagogues. You can have people in Unitarian churches. There's some people, Wiccan circles. Any type of spiritual, not just Wiccan, but even shamanic people that are spiritual that you can just kind of go to, and just have them sit and listen. So again, it's all about asking Spirit to guide you to the right people to help you along the way. And Jacqueline says, mental wellness is a choice in a way. I choose to do the work. Therapy takes the meds I need, but not over. There you go, girl. You got to keep, I still take mine. Jacqueline, I started with on and off from 5 in the beginning, and I've been able to get down to 1. And a lot of that is, like you said, by doing the work and keeping at it and finding the right support systems. And Irene says, I have walked out after a couple of sentences with my kid. Oh, okay. Sorry to hear that. I mean, it's going to be, I'm going to eat dinner. Bye, Miss Tarot D. Mwah. Love you. Enjoy dinner. I know I'm getting hungry. Ciao for now. And let's see. Oh, I am behind, aren't I? The publicly funded ones in my area aren't good. Okay. So Irene, now when it comes to publicly funded, there's counselors / therapists, but if I don't know if you've ever tried reaching out to a organization that has peer support counselors of that type. Peers are people are with like are like people like me. It's people with um, shared trauma, and sometimes too, why throwing the word trauma around, but shared experiences, shared life experiences that may have been traumatic um, or just needing support um, in that way. Like for me in New York, it was West New York Independent Living. They help people with disabilities, including mental health. We had peer advocates, peer specialists, where they would just sit and talk peer to peer. What's going on? This has been my life experience. Share yours, holding space. So that might be a resource for you. Let's see, I can't even get a doctor in my area. I haven't seen one in 5 years. Girl, almost that long for me too. Um, Here's the thing. You don't know what you need or what works for you until you try. It needs to be affordable and accessible at minimum. Girl, you're speaking my language. Yes. It's a growth process and there have been backslides. Yep. But even the tiniest step forward is forward, and it should be seen as a accomplishment and a triumph. Sometimes we focus a lot on our failures, and it's okay that we have them, and we just take those and we move forward to, you know, what we learn from them, and do better or do differently. Not necessarily do better, but just do differently moving forward. I like what Allyson said about sweeping blank statements. And hello, Shay. Good to see you, my dear. Peer support, breach confidentiality in my. Oh, really? See, I'm sorry that happened to you, Irene. Where I was at, I don't think we had that. I mean, something. I mean, is everything foolproof? Is everything absolutely no? Everything pretty much will have a flaw. Um, I'm sorry that happened to you. I'm not minimizing that happened to you. I have had a couple where, I should say a couple. I had one that I was given to, I did not relate to, and when I tried to find somebody else, it offended them, and it made for an uncomfortable situation. So it can happen. Um, but again, you know, perhaps the places that offer peer support, maybe you can go to a function. A lot of places like when Western New York Independent Living, when I was I was part of their branch in Niagara County, Independent Living of Niagara County. When there would be, getting together to celebrate achievements every year, there would be the ADA picnic, the Americans with Disabilities Act picnics, where we would also go to Albany. And I've been, making trips to Albany to talk to representatives. I would meet new people and new peers. So maybe moving forward, going to some of these events, talking to folks, getting a feel, getting a vibe, and seeing if maybe somebody resonates with you. And as long as it's covered, by insurance or sliding feel. A lot of times too, um, there was no fee whatsoever because it was a government funded nonprofit. So a lot of times people could come see us as long as they had some sort of um, disability or needed assistance. They would just do the intake and we would get somebody to help them. So um, I need cash more than anything, girl. I hear you. And let's see, Jacqueline, I have the workbook for what I'm working on. I'm at a place where I just need a tune up. I like that tune up, and I'm pretty adept at self reflection. I will keep swimming, but on my own. All right, but there's whenever you feel like you're that swimming isn't get. Always know that there are people that you can turn to, my dear. Um, but internally when that's right for you, just like it is for everybody else. I always promised my counselors and therapists, not my counselors, my doctors who prescribe my medications, my peer specialists, everybody who was part of my RAP plan, who was part of my recovery, including Shan. I always wrote, these are the signs. You see these signs, I may need help. And the minute I do, I reach out to people. So it's when you can find that support, it really does help. Um, I think we need to make peer advocates a thing. They are, because when you're in a bad place, you may need more they than they give necessarily. Wait, let me see. I think we need to make peer advocates a thing, because when you're in a bad place, you may need more help than they give necessarily, or help advocating for oneself. Peer advocacy um, requires mostly like certification in most states. New York, it's very intense. I tried doing it, and there are times when I had to take breaks. I had to step away from it just to make sure to keep my mental health and places in check, because you can't do stuff like that if you're not in the right place. And it was just like every time I would go back to it, there'd be more coursework. And then knowing I was coming here, I said, no, I'm not going to follow through. And of course, there was no charge. I guess there is a way to maybe make some income doing that here. And where I go through, they say may be eligible for some certification. So we'll see. But like again, it's about research, going to fundraising events or public events, meeting people, introducing yourself, and gain a feel of people. The sense of do you feel it, that trustworthiness? Do you feel comfortable? I don't need to discuss my life with anyone now. I just need money. But I have been at rock bottom yet because of former unresolved extreme childhood and young adult abuse. Recovery is possible. Yes, it is. And oh, excuse me. And I call it recovery because, like an addict, we can fall down again. Yep. It's definitely, that's the term that gets used, mental health recovery and maintaining. It's not common here. Okay. That part iron. Okay, money. Yep. So we're all agreeing with that. Um, all right, so we are at 6:19. So I have plenty of decks out for tomorrow's scavenger hunt on Hershey the Shadow Reader's channel. Um, let's do a collective. I know Allyson is becoming more involved in learning the tarot more in depth, so we won't be doing any type of readings here on Fridays. But seeing I'm solo at the moment, I would be more than happy to pull some cards. And I'm looking at many of my decks here to see which one is called. Here, let's do this one here. I'm actually reading a book by this woman. Her name is Marcella Lobos. She worked on this deck with Colette Baron Reed and her husband Alberto Villoro. It's called The Mystical Shaman. And so I'm feeling pulled to draw from these cards. Okay. Irene says, I need to move to a liberal area. It's very conservative here. We have just a little bit of everything here where I'm at. And today I was actually at a Walmart. And no, it wasn't Walmart. It was Hobby Lobby. And somebody had a sticker on the back of their vehicle. And this really made me sad. They said, we use weapons in my religion. And then they had a sticker of an AK-47. So it was a Christian sticker saying that we use weapons, in my religion. And I'm like, why? Why do you need a weapon? It just, I can't wrap my mind around it. But at the same time, most people around here, despite what different things they may believe, the different nationalities we have here, especially with the university, most people get along. They really do here. Okay, what did come up? Oh, that's interesting. Well, these are some interesting cards. And if you see someone with little things on the back, because she writes a lot about these cards between working with Marcella. Marcella, excuse me. That's what Selena said the right pronunciation is. there's another one of her books at Ashland Exchange Book Exchange, and I'm almost done reading. She has one on reawakening um, the feminine through shamanic work, and it basically talks about her journey and healing and where she grew up from Chile, and it's been a very interesting book. So she's the assisted with the creation of this deck. Alrighty. Too bad Miss Tarot D wasn't here. I'm going to pull out my tiles because let's see. Do I have something written on here? I love my tiles. Christian love can be a weapon in my experience. No thanks. Yeah, for me that's true. Alrighty. Oh wow. Okay. And we got to keep in mind too, with Mercury retrograde, yeah, communication stuff this week has been kind of off the hook for me. So the first card that we got to consider going into the weekend or this energy right now is the curse. And without reading, the information, when I see this, I see someone putting one's hand over her, that shadow of her hand on her mouth. And so for me, it's also about making sure that we are not silenced. That, again, kind of like what we've been talking about, advocating for ourselves, and making sure that possibly people in our community and our friends, our circles, our family, our traumas, that we don't remain silent. Because to me, that's a curse. Hello, Shelby, when we don't speak up and share how we feel or what we see. Of course, there's everything with filter, especially now with communications too, with the Mercury retrograde. This could also be alluding at this time, maybe just to stand back and be silent for now. But let's see what she says here. So, limiting stories of our ancestors, karma from previous lifetimes released, source of negative patterns. So, holds us hostage to a false story we confuse with reality. Wow. Forgiveness for self and others. And again, we were just talking about, forgiving others to heal. Again, this is all personal, and this is how we have to navigate our own terrain, our own life experiences, and also beware of actions and act with impeccable intention. So covering our mouths too when we talk, words that we say can be, like spells. We can say things to bring ourselves up. We can say things to hurt ourselves, others. So being mindful of what we say. Craft a new life for yourself. So, and that's interesting, the curse, being quiet, holding back, not being able to speak. The next card I got is the witness. So what are we witnessing? Taking time to witness how we feel. Witnessing, taking time to step back and see what it is, again, that we are saying to ourselves, what we are doing to ourselves, and to others. Being a witness to life, acknowledging, just I like that, being a witness to life, being able to see what is going on around us, and maybe not necessarily, and this may be not necessarily saying anything and taking a step back, or again, being witness to something and not being afraid to come forward and to speak, and not to have your voice or your truth being withheld from you. Now, under the witness card, the notes I wrote on the back here, it's about observing without engaging in any action. That was a lesson for me this week. Cultivating inner stillness allows for assessing situations. When we can be present for someone else with stillness, we can truly hear them. So holding space for others, being a witness, for another person, being a witness and listening to a trauma they may be going through, or even something happy, something that they're excited about, but holding space and being present for other people. Acknowledging preconceptions, ideas, feelings about a situation, but resist the urge to change it. So, and avoid controlling patterns. That's easy. And that's interesting on that one there. But that was the energy, the keywords that I took from that one. And I like next that we get the owl. And I don't have anything about the owl, but the owl is the, people think owls as bad omens, but the owls is about, look at those eyes, looking through the dark, looking through like just that piercing eyes, being able to, the wisdom that we gain. Again, the curse, things that we have been through, things that we have witnessed, and having the wisdom and knowledge of knowing when to act or when to reflect and to hold back, and being present enough um, with ourselves to know, listening to our intuition and having that wisdom and knowing when, it is time to speak, or when it's time to hold back. um Bye, Shelby, thank you for stopping by. And then I pulled two tiles, and the underlying energy is the Knight of Swords. Now, swords, communication, swift moving, fast. Again, with, especially too with this, you know, retrograde and all these planets, the curse with the hand over the mouth too can very well be telling us to be aware of what we're saying. Again, watching our communication. Because sometimes when we say things or do things, they are taken out of context or misunderstood. And that's times when we need to kind of step back again and be witness, not just to others, but again to our own thoughts and things that we want to say, and having that wisdom within from the owl to be able to discern whether or not should I stay or should I go now. Kind of like energy. So with the Knight of Swords, that swift acting, they're like the teenagers. They want to rush in and they want to say this and they want to do this and they want to communicate. And so right now it's like we may want to hold back a little bit, because we also got the Emperor, and the Emperor is that energy of leadership, knowing when, you know, that wisdom again, that wisdom, that knowledge, the integrity, the respectability, and again knowing when, because that's an Aries arcana. So that fiery energy of the Aries, and knowing that, to be able to know when to act and when to sit. There's some emperors I've seen that are standing, or they're moving, or they're sitting. And so here, moving forward, just to sit in our place of integrity, responsibility, and because with this here is also about how our actions reflect to others. So um, being aware of fast moving, swift talking, or swift ideas or thoughts that may come out, and being more in control, more again being, having integrity with our words and our deeds moving forward. So that's what I'm getting, and I'm sticking to it. So I hope that all resonated with y'all. Alrighty, 6:30. It's 6:30 my time, and it is time for dinner. So let me get my. And again, this was one of the bakes that Allyson sewed up for me. For my tiles that I have, and she made me a couple of others that I've got my decks for. So let's see. Sometimes others simply want to be heard. Yeah. No one trying not to fix anything. Like sometimes with Shan, he wants to be able to try to fix it or fix. I'm like, no, I just need you to listen. That's all that I need. Pickles and onions. Oh my goodness, I can't do pickles. It depends on the onions whether they're raw or not. Just look at what's happening. The veil is lifting. They're trying to suppress the truth. Shine bright, everyone. Yeah. And again, knowing when to share that truth and when, we need to take a step back. I got chicken cutler sub with fries. Oh my God, y'all are making me hungry. She just wanted to stop and say hi. Thank you again. Oh, I have to get ready for tomorrow. Yeah, me too. Wisdom and patience. Yes, discretion is the better part of valor. I like discretion. I have to remember that one. I have seen that. And alrighty, good night, Tom. I thought you had gone, but thanks for hanging out. And you are welcome. And I will see whoops. I hope everybody, let me do that. There we go. Hope everybody has a good weekend. And I will see you all next show, which should be, tomorrow with the scavenger hunt on Hershey, the Shadow Readers channel. But if not, I will see everybody on Monday on my channel for the Sacred Feminine Within. So, ending on this note, compassion and empathy don't involve fix. Yeah, yep, exactly. And bye, Shay. Yes, thank you, everybody, and have a good night. Thank you again.